Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we're at day six, and you can see we're almost to the end of the sequence. This is the 2-4 emotional sequence. This is the 6.5 day sequence. Day six is right here in this white rectangular outline. Now, day five was the spicy day. We talked about that. We had this increase in electromagnetic right here for the first person perspective. So I hope no one made it harder for themselves at home. I hope we didn't have any arguments with our family, with our community members. That's the first person perspective. And then also, yesterday, we had some increase in the third person. And if people were watching the news, I think you noticed there were a little more world events that were being described and some situations where tensions are rising again. This stuff is predicted, and in the future here, we're trying to get as many people to know about this so that we can limit and minimize how much stress and tension comes out of these predicted moments. All right, so let's move on here. Let's just take a look at day six, and you can see we still got a little elevation. Now, if you were here yesterday and you weren't, there was a small M frequency that's still in polarity right now. And this is a strong 7.5 day frequency. So when it flips polarity, look at how long it's doing it for. That's what's lifting and holding this whole thing up is that 7.5 day frequency. And we're going to feel that coming into day six here still. So that's going to keep tension going at the first person level. All right, so we got a little bit going on here too as well in the third person level, but remember, the number we're looking for is 4. When it gets up to 4, it's going to be more noticeable. So there's not a whole lot that even reaches the 4 in our day 6 here. So let's move on down. So we're not so worried about this, and as always, no matter how much you feel like you should lash out or be defensive, I promise you, you don't want to do that. It's not helping you. It's not gonna help you achieve the objective. It's gonna make things tougher for you in the future. I promise you. I have plenty of experience knowing that that's not what you wanna do. Alright, we're gonna come down here now, we're gonna take a look at objective, and always we call this the objective because it's this simple. You literally just have to know how to do well in relationships with the 4 perspectives, first person perspectives of a family, and the 4 third person perspectives of a society. Now, to do well, it has to be mutually beneficial. Your relationship isn't gonna benefit you or them or it's just equal. And that's what we're striving to do here. Now, if you can't achieve mutually beneficial or equal relationship, equality, what happens is when these frequencies test you, that's what they're testing you on. They're testing you on how close to equality are you. And if you're not there, then depending on how far away you are is going to tell you how much damage you're going to take when these frequencies come. And these colors and these quadrants are paired with the relationships both in the first and third, first and third, first and third person, first and third person. So if any of these quadrants hurt tomorrow, it's easy to know exactly what relationships you need to start to balance and have more equal and mutually beneficial choice in. And the cool thing is once you have an event, once something hurts, once you just document the time. You come back to our website, we've got space-time technology embedded right at our website. You pump in your information, you put in the times, it tells you exactly what relationships cause that dysfunction. And it will give you a much clearer idea because just saying that you struggle with balanced relationship with mothers, what does that mean? Well, we're going to help you with that. All we need is the times that you're hurt, and we can give you the assistance to know what to do to make this better. Obviously, if we don't improve our relationships and these frequencies just cycle again and again, it's not going away. This is what accelerates aging. This is what's causing your diseases. And I was having this conversation with somebody. It's one thing when we hurt, okay? That's easy to know when we're out of balance. But it doesn't always feel like pain. How do you think cancer starts? Or how do you think heart disease or these chronic conditions start? They start by these imbalances, and over time, it starts to wear down on our body from the inside out. Now, the only way to slow that process down is balanced choice, balanced thought. All right, enough about objective. We're doing a little extra there today because there's not much to talk about here. They're all being tested pretty equal. All right, let's come down. Now, we've got some new additions here. So our little 24-hour graph with the timeline, we've decided to put some hashes in here between. So it's 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6. So there's a hash every hour now. So that's going to allow you to look up and know exactly when these polarity points. I didn't want you having to guess between a 3-hour gap. That's not very defined. And in addition to this, we've also added an additional function to the space-time clocks on the homepage, where this graph is displayed real time and the time bar is running through it. So you can see exactly when these polarity points happen. You can open this up on your phone and check it at any time. All right. So that's the upgrade in the graph here. Now let's just look at the electromagnetic spectrum because this is where it's all dialed in. So you can see in the first 12 hours, the combined tomorrow definitely gets up into the 4 range. See it? We're up into the 4, so we're yellow hidden into the red, and that's going to happen. And for every time zone, it's going to be different, right? We're all going through the same lesson plan, but you have to come up here. You have to find your offset. Once you find your offset, take a screenshot of this. It's pretty simple. And to navigate through this is not hard. They're in order from -11 up to +12, and we're looking for -4. We're gonna have to wait 10 seconds here. I always miss it by 1. It gives me some time to talk. Now, so we can see in the first 12-hour section here, the doubled or the combined of these 2 are gonna be an issue. All right, so this is where I would take a shot. This is for Eastern Time Zone, and now you see how much more dialed in this is for you, how much more accurate this will be as far as what's going on here. All right. So once you have your time zone and you have that eyed up, now you know what times of the day you have to worry. First 12 hours, high, second 12 hours, it kind of goes up at the end of it in the middle of the 2 sequences. Not so much, not so much. And you're going to want to look at this too. If you happen to get yourself in a little bit of trouble tomorrow, you're going to want to reference this and say, holy smokes, it happened to me. I got duped. I didn't know it. I got irritated. I got agitated. It caught me by surprise. And that's why we're doing this. All right, let's switch gears here. Now we're going to talk about the alignments. So we've got a time alignment here, a space alignment here, and another space alignment. Those are the 3 we're going to talk about today. Let's start with this time alignment. It's the one on the bottom of the graph. So when it's down lower to the bottom, it just means it's not as powerful. Why? Well, because the 2 frequencies that are coming together are shorter in length. So this is a 12-hour frequency. This is a 3.5-hour frequency. Now, these 2 frequencies are going to affect the lower quadrants of the body, and this one reflects a family perspective. So, a family perspective that's equal and balanced with all of their families, and the red is an individual perspective, an individual that's balanced with all individuals. Again, equality is what we're looking for, and these are the social perspectives. Now, this is the one that's stronger. So if you're out of balance with both of these, it's still more likely that you're going to feel it on the left-hand side during this 2.25-hour alignment. Okay? So that would be a hit. And if that's the case, then we got to work on individual and family balance. That's what we'd be working on with the individuals that don't do well on that alignment. All right, let's move on here. So now we're going to move up on the chart and we're getting a little bit stronger. Now we're in an ME. Okay, so the E is still the 3.5 frequency, and you can see all of these are testing right and left. So, and lower quadrant, right and left lower quadrant. So this is 3.5, and this is a 7.5 day frequency. So this is definitely, if you're gonna have to wonder what side's gonna be more affected, this is stronger. Now you could be equally unbalanced with both of these frequencies because this one's a little bit weaker, a little bit smaller. You're just not gonna sense it as much. Does that mean it's not doing damage? No, it's doing damage if you're out of balance with it. It's just it's not gonna be as noticeable. All right, so that's an hour and a half, and that one happens right here. So that's going to happen in the first 12-hour sequence. This one's going to happen in the second 12-hour sequence, and then this last one is going to be the exclamation point at the end of the sequence. Now, that one's almost 3 hours long, 2.75 hours, and we've got the small m, so that's the 7.5 day, and now it's paired with the P frequency, the capital P. That is a 12-hour frequency. This is going to increase test load on the right side a little bit, but all in all, this left side is where I would expect you to feel it during the alignments, that is. Okay, so the alignment portion is done, and you can see tomorrow for the alignments, which are going to create stronger frequencies. When 2 frequencies come together, they amplify, and it's kind of like a test. It's like the test on top of the tests we're already taking. Like we're being tested 24/7, but these are like the pop quizzes that come up and say, hey, how close are you really to balance? And if you're not, these are the ones that are like low hanging fruit. They're very easy to sense or feel if you're out of balance with them. And if you're in balance with them, they're also easy to sense and feel because things get noticeably better. Okay, let's keep moving here. Now, we're going to talk about these 2 graphs and this stuff together again today because these macros, right? I told you, these macros are the strongest frequencies. So you want to know where the macros are. Now, during the day, as this is cycling, we'd have all kinds of numbers and letters all over this thing, but these ones really aren't moving too much. Now, yesterday we talked about this M frequency, how it was here and it moved over here. That's what's causing this elevation. That's what I was talking about up on the top too. That's what was causing this elevation. You can see halfway through the first 12-hour section, that polarity moment's going to go away. That's going to be noticeable. People will probably feel like, oh, that's easier to think. It's easier to concentrate. When the mental ones are going, it can kind of scatter a little bit, keep you scattered, and it's hard to stay focused. Okay. Now, if you just look at where these are aligned today, and we just look at the yellow and the red, which is the right side, the yellow and the red, which is the right side, let's just count them up. We've got one, two, three, four, five, six. And how many do we have on the left side? One, two, three, four. Okay. So we can see there's a little imbalance. Now, over the course of the day, because there's more going on here, regardless of what these are saying, this right side is getting tested harder, no doubt about it. And you can see it's getting tested harder here. This is up a little bit. So we're at three, we jump up to five, but we're really kind of staying in that 3 to 4 range. Okay. And the same thing down here in the red. Starts up at 4, jumps up to 5, and then we're staying in that 3 to 4 range. So tomorrow, or in this 12-hour sequence, I'm doing this at the beginning of it. In this 12-hour sequence, it's obvious that right side is coming. It might be, but remember, all these alignments up here are going to kick on the left. So this could be a day where you can feel it on both sides, right and low back. And especially if you're having issues with your first person or your third person perspectives in this bottom quarter right here. That's these views right here. That's the daughter, the son, the individual, and the family. All right. I think that's good. I think we've got a good handle of what's coming tomorrow. We've got to definitely think and pay attention so we stay calm in the beginning and the end. And just know, no, there is no benefit whatsoever to you to act out, to react to defense. It's just not worth it. All right. That's how we're ending. See you tomorrow.